Which of the following is bad practice? Storing materials safely. Mixing all waste in one skip. Refueling carefully to avoid spills. Switching off plant and equipment when it is not in use.
Whose responsibility is it to ensure that exposure to substances which are hazardous to health is prevented or adequately controlled? All workers on site. The designer, the product manufacturers, the employer. What does a COSH assessment cover? Lifting heavy loads and how to protect yourself. Hazardous substances and how to protect yourself when using them. Working safely in confined spaces. The assessment of noise levels and how to protect your hearing. Which emergency procedures should be explained in the site induction? Give 3 answers. Where to go to leave valuables in an emergency? What to do if someone is injured on site? Where to go if the fire alarm is activated? How to avoid leaving site in case it's a false alarm? How to raise the alarm in case of an emergency. Which one of the following tasks would require a worker to wear safety Wellington boots to help protect from skin burns? Laying new concrete. Working indoors on fittings. Landscape gardening in the rain. Lifting floorboards. Why is it important to have emergency procedures on site? They help stop workplace bullying. They will stop all deaths on site. They help to control dangerous situations. They assist in creating a happy workplace.
What should you do if you cannot do a job in the way described in the method statement? Contact the Health and Safety Executive, HSE. Make up a better way to do it and carry on. Do not start work until you have talked to your supervisor. Ask other workers how they think it should be done.
What is the main objective of carrying out an accident investigation? To help track the cost of insurance claims. To place blame. To find the cause and prevent reoccurrence. To identify the people involved. Which 2 of the following are common causes of water pollution on site? Fuels being stored incorrectly and too close to drains. Walkways freezing in winter near drainage systems. rainwater washing material out of skips into surface water drains, smoking and e-smoking near drainage systems, exhaust gases from mobile plant getting into drainage systems, If the first aid kit on site is empty, what should you do? Bring your own first aid supplies into work. Inform the person who looks after the first aid kit. Ignore the problem as it is always the same. Find out who is taking all the first aid supplies. If you need to wear a full body harness and have not used one before, what should you do? Ask for expert advice and training. Try to work it out for yourself. Ask someone wearing a harness to show you what to do. Read the manufacturer's instruction book.
Which of the following is the main cause of skin cancer? Exposure to ultraviolet sun rays, working indoors, skin being irritated by overalls, working in rainy conditions.
You have been asked to do some work that will create dust. What should you do? You should not do the work because dust is highly dangerous. Use equipment to eliminate or reduce the dust and wear the correct personal protective equipment, PPE. Start the work. No controls are needed as dust cannot cause serious harm or injury. Work for short periods at a time. Regular breaks will reduce the amount of dust you breathe in.
You see a lorry parking and it has a flat tyre. Why should you tell the driver? The driver will need to travel at a much slower speed. It could be unsafe to drive the lorry. The lorry can only carry small loads. More fuel will be used by the lorry.
What should you do if the electrical equipment you are using cuts out? Switch off the power and look for signs of damage. Shake it to see if it will start again. Pull the electric cable to see if it is loose. Switch the power off and on a few times.
Which two extinguishers should not be used on electrical fires? Dry powder, blue colour band. Water, red colour band. Carbon dioxide, black colour band. Foam, cream colour band.
What is the best way to stop people being hit by falling tools and materials when you are working above them? Make sure they are wearing safety helmets. Only allow authorized people underneath the work area. Exclude people from below the work area with fencing and signs. Tell them you will be working above them and erect signs.
The seal of your respiratory protective equipment RPE can be broken by which two things? Facial hair, a hearing aid, earrings, makeup, facial scarring.
Match the signs below with their correct categories. Prohibition. Mandatory. Safe condition. Warning.
Which one of the following must be provided on site? Breakfast, snacks, drinking water, free transport home.
If you are working on a flat roof, what is the best way to stop yourself from falling over the edge? Put a large warning sign at the edge of the roof. Protect the edge with a guardrail and a tow board. Ask someone to watch you and shout when you get too close to the edge. Use red and white tape to mark the edge. If a sink on site is blocked and the water supply has failed, what should you do? Find a plunger. Buy water from the vending machines. Get used to the situation. Speak to a supervisor. What is the main hazard when working in an excavation? Crushing, if the sides are not supported. Trips and falls due to the space restriction. Cuts and abrasions from the trench sides. Breathing in hazardous dust from the earth.
The chances of suffering from lung cancer are increased by what? Exposure to sunlight. Exposure to steam. Vibration from power tools. Breathing in dust.
When signallers are used, who should they be in contact with at all times? The site manager, the machine operator, their supervisor, pedestrians.
Where on the body would a worker wear respiratory protective equipment, RPE?
What is the most important reason why people should be trained and competent before they are allowed to enter a confined space? Confined spaces are only found on house building sites. Confined spaces never contain breathable air. Confined space entrants need to understand the potential hazards. Confined spaces always contain flammable or explosive gases.
What is a toolbox talk? A sales talk given by a tool supplier. A short training session on a particular safety topic. Your first training session when you arrive on site. A talk that tells you where to buy tools.
What is the most important consideration when wearing respiratory protective equipment, RPE? Being able to smell. The weight is correct. It is the correct colour. It has a good seal.
What is one of the best ways to overcome negative workplace attitudes about mental health issues? Tell workmates that you are an expert in mental health issues. Make sure no one with a mental health issue gets hired. Avoid talking about it and the problem will resolve itself. Talk and listen about mental health openly and without judgment. What is the main reason for ensuring safe manual handling techniques in the workplace? To complete the job quickly. To prevent personal injury. To satisfy the client's requirements. To prepare for safety inspections. According to the work at height regulations, when can ladders be used for work? If it is high-risk work for long periods of time. When other people do not need to use it for access. A ladder must never be used on site. If it is low-risk work for a short period of time. What should workers follow whilst at work to meet their health and safety duties? The actions of their workmates. A safe system of work agreed with the employer. Their gut feeling on safe practices. Direct orders from the Health and Safety Executive, HSE. Your new job involves some manual handling, but an old injury means that you have a weak back. What should you do? Tell your supervisor that lifting might be a problem. Tell your supervisor you can lift anything on site. Try some lifting, then tell your supervisor about your back. Tell your supervisor about your back if it gets injured again. Which of the following can be an indicator of stress? increased productivity, inability to deal with usual workload, feelings of confidence at work, feeling valued at work. What does this sign mean? Load-bearing roof. The surface can be slippery when wet. Load-bearing roof. You can stand on the surface but not on any roof lights. Fragile roof. Take care when walking on roof surface. Fragile roof. Use fall protection measures and do not stand directly on the roof. Which one of the following describes the role of a vehicle marshaller? Provide training on how to drive manual plant. Manage incident response documentation. Support safe vehicle movements on site. Control the movement of cranes on site. Where is the best place for a portable residual current device, RCD, to be fitted? Anywhere in the 230 volt supply to the building. Between the plug of a 230 volt tool and the supply socket. Near to the main fuse box. Inside the main transformer. To ensure the public is not put at risk from falling materials for the duration of work, what may be necessary? Pavement closure or diversion. Giving the public hard hats. Making pedestrians use the road. Giving the public high-vis clothing.
Which one of the following statements about mental health is true? Mental health has to do with our general knowledge. Mental health is all about our intelligence. Mental health is all about how we think and remember things. Mental and physical health are directly linked. What risk does this worker face by using this tool on a regular basis? Back injury caused by using heavy equipment. Dermatitis from repetitive use. Weil's disease caused by the dust. Hand-arm vibration from prolonged use.
Does your employer have to provide a first aid kit? No, there is no legal duty to provide one. Only if more than 25 people work on site. Yes, every site must have one. Only if more than 50 people work on site.
Which action will help to keep signallers safe? Provide gloves for hand signals. Provide body cameras to capture any incidents. Provide high-vis clothing so they are clearly visible. Provide yearly eye tests to confirm they have good vision. Which of the following best describes carbon monoxide? Colourless, odourless, poisonous gas. Another name for oxygen. A gas similar to methane. Odourless, harmless gas.
Which of the following is an effective way to avoid causing harm to protected species? Avoiding breeding season. Only working at night. Using manually operated machinery. Take them to the site office. Which two potential health issues are more likely when using a hammer drill for long periods of time? Hepatitis. Carpal tunnel syndrome. Vibration white finger. Head injuries. Speech impairment.
What should a harness's lanyard be attached to when working in a mobile elevating work platform, MEWP? A designated anchor point within the platform or basket. The control box. A point on the structure or building you are working on. The MEWP handrail.
When must an accident be recorded in the accident book? If a person is injured in any way. Only if a person has to attend hospital. If a person has a day off work with a cold. Only if a person suffers a broken bone.
A worker with a full UK driving licence has been asked to move a machine they have never been trained on. What should the worker do? They can move the machine as they have a full UK driver's licence. Explain that they are not trained and competent to move it. Move the machine as long as there is a vehicle marshaller. Move the machine as long as there is no one else near it. How do residual current devices, RCDs, work? Giving an audible warning. By storing electric charge. By showing a flashing light. By cutting power quickly if there is a fault.